My mother-in-law kept referring to me as a family friend because she didn't approve of me. She flipped out when I told everyone she has dementia and doesn't remember the wedding. I have been married to my wife for over 2 years, and the only obstacle in our relationship has been my mother-in-law who hates the fact that I am Russian. This all started when I heard her telling her friends I was just someone her daughter knew. It was Thanksgiving last year and I was delivering some presents ahead of time to my wife's parents. When I arrived, mother-in-law was sitting on the porch talking with her friends, and rolled her eyes when she saw me pull up. I decided to not be rude and greet her friends, but when they asked who I was, mother-in-law told everyone that I'm a family friend and a roommate to her daughter. It was a very awkward situation, but I didn't escalate the matter and let it be. When I told my wife about this, who by the way is a very blunt person, she said her mother hates me and that I should ignore her. I tried to do that, but on several occasions in the following months, I saw her call me as a temporary family friend to people who were literally at the wedding. Eventually it got to the point where even our friends were asking if there's something wrong with my marriage. I might act like I'm fine, but inside I was breaking. Every time she said it, I felt like I didn't deserve my wife and felt really insecure. After years of torment and hate from mother-in-law, I certainly had enough and decided to retaliate. After my wife told me to handle it in any way I want, I started replying to everyone who had noticed mother-in-law's comments. I told them to please be understanding of her because she is suffering from a severe case of dementia, and has trouble remembering important events. One day I had to deliver something to mother-in-law's office, and when she told her coworker who I was, I didn't stay quiet. I pulled that coworker aside and told him that I'm actually her daughter's husband, but she can't remember the wedding because of dementia. I went home and laughed about it with my wife, but mother-in-law called us fuming. Apparently that coworker had spilled the beans. She told us that I crossed the limit and if we didn't divorce, she would personally make our life a living hell. We're still waiting to respond, but she has been blowing up both mine and my wife's phone ever since. Update 1. I'll provide a little backstory for everyone who is interested. When we were still dating and my wife first introduced me to her parents, her mother didn't bother hiding her disapproval. I am from Russia and it shows in my accent, but I never thought that was a bad thing until I met her. At first, she refused to shake my hand and only greeted me with a nod. I presented her with presents I had bought for my girlfriend's family, including an antique flower pot from my home country. I think she threw it into the trash even before I left their house that day. During our first dinner together, mother-in-law thought I couldn't understand English and started warning her daughter right in front of me. She said that where I'm from, the men are all terrible drunks and beat their wife every time they come home. She also claimed that I don't know the value of money and will drain her daughter's savings before throwing her aside. These were extremely racist and offensive remarks, and I was really hurt, but I waited for my girlfriend to respond. My girlfriend had a very sassy and cheeky personality at the time, and by that I mean she didn't hold back her thoughts while speaking. Without missing a beat, she said to her mother, "I know my boyfriend is a lot more handsome than yours, but can you stop acting jealous while we're eating?" I spat out the food in my mouth and coughed uncontrollably while mother-in-law entirely lost her voice. I think she has hated me since that day. Anyway, I was falling more and more in love with my girlfriend as time went on, so I proposed to her on our 3rd-year anniversary, and she said yes. I was very anxious when we made the announcement and scared of the reaction we would get as a mixed-race couple, but most of the comments were really kind, until I saw mother-in-law's comment, in which she said that her daughter was making a terrible mistake by trusting me, and she won't approve of me as a son-in-law. My now fiancé told her mother to F off, and that who she marries is her own choice. The wedding was magical and I couldn't believe I had succeeded in marrying this girl. I think I was living on a high right up until I heard my mother-in-law didn't acknowledge me as her son-in-law. While it made me sad to know that I couldn't win over her mother's approval, I loved my wife and would never let her go. Back to when I told everyone mother-in-law has dementia. My wife thought it was hilarious and couldn't stop laughing. She made me film a video of us laughing and send it to her mother. That's when the calls and texts finally stopped coming. But I feel really bad for mother-in-law, and wish I could have done things differently. Update 2. Hello everyone, I am Mr. Russian Guy's wife and here to clarify a few things. First of all, I love this guy more than I love my cat, so anyone who thinks my mother can influence me to start hating him can go frick themselves. And second, yes, I have tried talking to her several times. I showed her how many things my husband has done for me to show his love and commitment. He took a job at a smaller company just so he could move to where I lived. He also supported me when I changed careers, and has never let me feel insecure. I also told her how much I love him, and how we're a perfect match, but she just can't look past his race. It was only after our marriage when I realized that my mother would never change, and I stopped bothering myself with her. I was too busy making love with my husband to give a damn about who approves of him and who doesn't. And by the way, I know that my husband desperately wants approval from my mother. He had a terrible relationship with his own parents, and thinks that he is ruining my relationship with my mother by being with me. We have recently started therapy to help get him over this hurdle, and I'm doing my best to support him. I'll also tell you a secret about him. Every time he eats spaghetti, he accidentally rubs the sauce all over his face. I lick it off every time so he doesn't find out and keeps doing it, because I think it's cute.